Hello, so this video is for anybody who either just got or is getting or currently has and has had for a while and just wants information about their palatal expander. You are just getting one and you're kind of not sure what to expect, or you have one and you're just looking for help, because I think the first thing that I did when I got mine on is, will I ever eat again? Into Google. Because I think, the hardest thing is imagining it ever getting better, and just, and especially beforehand, you really don't know what to expect, because you hear people saying, like, you're not going to be able to talk properly, you're not going to be able to eat properly, and then you start getting scared, and then you start thinking, like, well, how bad can it really be? And as you can probably notice, you probably cannot tell that much that I have one because of the way that I'm talking. I have had it for about 5 months and you can't tell, like, it's really easy to talk after a while. So anyway, if you're in that situation, I made a little list of things that you should expect or just might be helpful to know if you either have one or just are going to be getting one soon. So the first thing you need to know, which is a very obvious thing, is about the talking. When you very first get it, you're going to be like so weirded out by the way you're talking. You're not going to know what you can even say. You feel like you're talking like something's wrong with you, but that honestly does get better. And I know I'm going to keep saying that it gets better, and it's going to be super hard to believe that in the first week. But yeah, words like weak, weekly, sticky, key are still really hard to say. Words with K's and G's like thingy, not like that's really a word, but just words like that are very difficult to say. And they will continue to be. And just like talking, it's going to be pretty much impossible to sing. Talking, you can work around words, but singing, you can't. And it's really a problem for me because I love to sing, and now it's like I can't. But I'm trying to not make this negative, but just know that if you're having a problem talking, I'm talking perfectly fine for the most part, and you probably just know you're going to get to that point. And it didn't take me 5 months to get to this. I mean, like, literally a month later, even like 2 weeks later, I was speaking fine. Like, it really wasn't that noticeable. It's just getting used to it is really hard. So, but you will. And the second most important thing you need to know is the very first time you try to swallow anything, you're going to be like, what the heck? How? What's going on? So, it's going to be really, really hard. And I think that experience could not be explained. It just is so hard to explain that experience. Oh, and this video could also be for like parents if their children is having it. So if your child is going to be getting a palatal expander, these are some things that you might want to know. As for eating, I did make a video about what you can/can't eat with a palatal expander. That video was more towards people who just got one. As for now, I'm pretty much, after a while, you're more capable to eat more things because you become more accustomed to how to slurp it down or how to get around. I don't know, it's kind of like just an instinct to know how to move the food around to not get it stuck. And I don't know, it just becomes easier to not get it stuck as time goes by. But yeah, I'll put that link to that video for things that are easier to eat when you first get one. So yeah, anyway, for the very first day and second day, just have tomato soup or soup with nothing in it. Like, just don't even try. But listen, even having pudding is difficult. Even having yogurt. I mean, I tried to have yogurt in the morning right when I got it out, and just because it's not about chewing, it's about swallowing. That's the hardest part. And swallowing water. Even I felt like I'm gonna just end up dying because I'm not gonna get enough nutrients because I can't even drink enough water. I can't even eat anything. How am I supposed to continue to survive for the months that I have to wear this if I can't even eat? But just like the talking, it gets so much easier, and within a week you're pretty much going to be able to eat anything. So just during that week, you have to kind of just, as much as you can, tough it out. And I know that's easier said than done because, like I said, the very first day I was like trying to, figure out, am I ever going to be able to do things normally again? And like everybody was saying it gets easier, you won't even know in a week. And I'm like, how do you not know? Like, how do you ever get used to this? And just so you know, my palatal expander is a lot bigger than most. I mean, a lot of people's is just a little tiny metal square in the middle. Mine takes up the entire roof of my mouth. So, yeah. And it's pretty thick towards the back. And the experience of swallowing for the first time, it's almost like your mouth and throat's first instinct is to not want to, because it's almost like if you had a giant piece of plastic in your mouth, which you do, or a big chunk of metal, your mouth knows that it's there and it automatically wants to repulse it. It doesn't want to choke. So pretty much when you're swallowing and stuff, it's difficult because your human bodily instincts are trying to not choke, but at the same time you know it needs to go down. So it's just really hard. Like I said, it gets so much easier. Swallowing is not a problem whatsoever anymore, like not at all. For the second week, everything was fine. So really, just know that you just have to tough it out for the first week. Like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I can promise you that. You're going to survive. So, you'll be okay. Okay, and the third thing you should know is that, and this is kind of a negative thing, especially if it's your first week, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, but you're probably going to have to wear your expander longer than you imagine. Because I asked my orthodontist, how long do you think I have to have this in? And he was like, about 3 to 4 months. It's been 5 months and I still have 3 months to go. Like, I think they don't really like to tell you the extent of how long you're going to have to wear it, because they don't want to completely just discourage you. Because they know that once you are used to it, it's not going to seem like a big deal. Like, so just know that even though it's probably going to be like 6, 7, 8 months, it's not that long in comparison to your entire life. So, because the thing is, you're not going to have to turn it for that amount of time. You probably only have to turn it for, I only had to turn mine for like a month or 2. I mean, I think it was like 2 months of turning it, maybe less. I don't even know. It was just a really short amount of time of turning it. But after that, you have to keep it in so it doesn't go back. And then later on, you might find out that you have to turn it even more. Like me, after I have my braces on, now I have to be turning it for another 2 weeks and things like that. So pretty much just, it's there to hold its place. Kind of like with braces, most of the moving happens within the first couple months, but then it's like, obviously you have to keep it on for the final adjustments and for everything to stay in place, and that's what retainers are for. Retainers are there to hold it in place. So that's kind of how it is with the expander, is you have to keep it in for a couple months, 6 months mostly, for just holding it in its place so the jaw doesn't move. Because I mean, we're talking about moving your entire jaw right now, so that's a big deal. It's gotta stay. So just know that it's probably going to be a little bit more, but it's going to be okay. Still be fine. Number 4, like I keep saying, it does get better. Every little thing, eating, drinking, talking, surviving, just pretty soon it's not going to seem like anything. It's not going to seem like it's taken over your whole life. It's just going to be there, and you're going to just get so used to it that it's going to literally feel like that's the roof of your mouth. That's just, you got a bionic mouth. And also, something you also need to be prepared for is it probably will make your tongue sort of sore. It's kind of dependent on the kind you have, everything. For me, I literally probably have like a 2 lines scar because of the fact that, because your tongue your tongue sets at the roof of your mouth, so I just probably have like the indentation of the thing on my tongue. And that was a problem for like the second week-ish, but then it just wasn't really a problem anymore. And you might find it's a little bit sore on your tongue or just around that area, but like I said, you're so used to it after a while. So just, if that happens, don't be concerned. And yeah, number 6 was it? Something you really should know is how to clean it. And there are videos on YouTube you can search about how to clean it, but I'll just give you a little general idea. Is they have these little, I always talk about these things and I never know what they're called, but they're just little like stick things with a wispy cleaner. You know, like the things that you're supposed to put in between your teeth to clean. It's like an alternative to flossing. It's like stick floss or something like that. That's really helpful to get on, like under it and on the roof of your mouth, especially if you just ate something like peanut butter or something that's stuck in there and you want to get it out. Highly, highly always will recommend the water pick, because that's not only good for flossing, but that's also good to just kind of spray up there and it will take pretty much anything out. So it's really, really important. It's also good to just use mouthwash in general, so you can just kind of swish up there and make sure there's no bacteria growing, everything's good. But that's why I think the water flosser is so important, because it can just make sure that there's nothing up there, because sometimes you really don't even know. I mean, for me, because mine takes up the entire roof, there could be things up there, like most of the time you can feel them, but sometimes you can't. So yeah, it's just always good to water floss that and to just pick if you have to. And as time progresses, you'll know weird ways to get the food out of your mouth, like making weird sounds, like like it's kind of like fake sneezing sometimes I have to do to get things out. You just kind of, with the pressure, get the food out. But yeah, okay. And the last thing to know, last positive thing to know, is that it works, and it's gonna work quickly for the most part. I turned mine one full turn every day for like a month or two, like I said, and it did not take long at all for it to actually work, and it doesn't really hurt. I highly suggest, as I'm sure your orthodontist suggested, to turn it at night, and maybe for the first couple days take like a Tylenol or an ibuprofen before you before you turn it in the night, and then the pain or the discomfort really just lasts like a few minutes, and then you're able to go to sleep, and it's really not a big deal. So yeah, and then pretty soon it really does work, and you're probably gonna get a gap in the front teeth in your front teeth. But keep this in mind, even if you get a gap, it can close on its own, which is so weird. It's so weird how that works, because the gap will form in different places. First you might get a gap on the side, then you might get a gap over here, you might have 2 gaps over here, then you can get a gap in the front, and then the gap can close. That's what happened to me. First I got a pretty decent gap in the front, and it was kind of embarrassing. It wasn't huge, but it was like, I could I don't know, it was noticeable. And yeah, and then after a few weeks that closed up. So yeah, it works. Just know it works, and if you do get a little gap and you feel insecure about it, it's not going to last long at all. And sometimes an orthodontist will do the thing that once the gap forms, they'll put the braces on to close the gap if the gap doesn't close on its own. So, or some people are in situations where they already have braces and they put the expander on with it. And then another most positive thing there is to know about having a palatal expander is that if you have a palatal expander before you have braces, braces are going to seem like the easiest thing on the planet. Like, so many people who just get braces, they're like, oh my gosh, I hate braces. Braces suck. I can't eat anything. I can't chew anything. Talking is difficult. And you're going to be like, psh. Braces are going to seem like a breeze after having a palatal expander, because braces are just on the front. Expander is internal, and it affects everything. So, but to me, that was a really good thing, to have something that's so, difficult at first really makes the braces seem like no big deal. And then once you do get the expander out and you just have braces, it's going to seem like so awesome, and you're just going to be smiling all the time, and it's not going to be a big deal. You're going to talk a lot, and you're going to not even care about your braces. And you're going to be like, you know what, it's super easy to clean these. Everything is easy, and you're going to probably just be able to eat so much more. Like, eating with braces is not a big deal. I mean, when I eat, I don't really consider my braces. I mean, I do, obviously, you have to, but I don't think like, oh, I can't eat that because I have braces. But I do think, oh, I can't eat that because I have a palatal expander. I mean, I can pretty much eat anything, but I know I'm like, spaghetti noodles are going to be difficult because of my palatal expander. But once you get that out, it's going to be like anything. So yeah, just to let you know, it's going to get better. It's going to make the braces seem like so much easier. It's going to move. It's going to fix everything. I mean, it's going to fix the problem. And like I said, along with the fact that it actually works, it's going to like change your face. I mean, don't worry about that either. Don't think that your entire face is going to change, but it is moving your literal mouth. It's moving your jaw. So it could just kind of change your face a little bit, but don't worry too much about that because it's not going to be like hugely noticeable. But for me, I noticed it being a positive thing, and it's good. And then if you take a picture of the roof of your mouth, you can really tell that things have really expanded and things are where they should be. So yeah, pretty much just know that it's a positive thing. It doesn't hurt that much. Focus on the positives. Even though it sucks, it does get easier, and it becomes a problem all down the months. You know, it's every once in a while you're just gonna get really annoyed with it, but it's gonna end someday, and everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. You'll be okay. Everything's gonna be good. You can do it. So, okay. Anyway, yeah, if you want to watch the video about what to eat and what to not eat, the link is in the description. And if you want to search videos about how to clean it, just type that into the top bar, and I've seen some good videos about it. So, yeah, that's pretty much all that I can say on the topic, and I really hope this helped you out. If you have any other questions or anything about your personal situation that you might want to ask me about, feel free to leave it in the comments. If this video helped you, let me know. And yeah, okay, let me know just if you're getting one. I want to hear your story and how long you have to have it in, and just tell me everything, because yeah, that's fun. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.